Hello everyone and welcome back to my YouTube channel. I am Samina Parveen and today's video is going to be regarding what things I learned about publishing as a teenager, and I thought this would be the best time to summarize it as I will soon turn 18 and I want to speak from my experiences so that others can benefit from it as well. So let's get into the video. December when you wore this sweater that is drenched. So, one thing I would like to start off with is that if you're a teenager and if you want to get into publishing, the first thing that you should do with your work is that first check it for grammar, grammatical errors, use softwares like Grammarly and other writing softwares which actually make your work more easier and simpler to understand, and don't go for fancy words which don't mean anything actually, like just using synonyms and making your work sound something so uh, good. But actually you just need to be organic and see if you have grammatical errors or not, and if it makes sense to the reader, like your message should come across very easily, and that is something you should focus on. Now, while pitching to places, I think the best place to start off would be unpaid literary magazines or zines, as we often call them. So zines are basically a place which are run by small publications or writers which aren't capable enough to pay you for your work, but they'll be able to give you a good exposure. And some things that I found interesting about zines is that they particularly focus on giving you a platform, and teenagers actually struggle to get a platform. So once you put your work in it, it usually gets reviewed, and a good thing about the review is some magazines charge you for it, others don't. But through review you'll come to know the shortcomings of your writing and how you can improve them. So it's basically a good thing for you because you're getting a review done, and that too free of cost. And if it's accepted, well and good. If it's rejected, you can always work on it and pitch it somewhere else. But usually these zines have like a strict deadline, like a open date to a close date, and the themes, they have various themes you can submit on. Now if you are a new writer and you don't have any written work which you want to submit, you can always see the theme, get inspired and write about it. But the main thing that zines and magazines like this focus on is originality. Even though you're a newbie, that's something that we always focus on, and that can be developed later on. But if you don't have an original idea, then I don't think there's a lot of scope for you. But I think practice is another thing. You can always try and edit your work. So that would be my second thing. Now, once you're publishing already in zines, you have a name out there. So once you do that, people will try to approach you for publications or collaborations. I would say the next step would be collaborating with other writers of your age, and getting that community feel. I have made a lot of writers through reviews and peer reviews and mentorship programs like that. And most zines offer summer programs, like I can't have any one of them on top of my mind, but Polyphony Lit Mag offers a summer course, and Tyvee, the Young Writers Initiative, offers a summer program and a summer mentorship as well. So those are the places where you can find other people who are interested in doing the same thing as you do and collaborate. So that's as easy as possible. And then you have interactive platforms like Write the World and Prose, where you can go make your own account and self publish your work, and people can comment on it. Now that has so many benefits because Write the World is particularly for teenagers, so it's very restrictive place. But it's good if you're, if you want to keep yourself safe as well as meet others of your age and see their work. And I think Write the World had a lot of various, like, so many good pieces to read. Like if you go on there and review others work, or others can review your work, right? So it's always so good to go there and read pieces. Like people would write mind-blowing literature. And then comes prose. Prose was more for like you wouldn't get that many reviews there, but people would read your work and comment, which was also a good experience if you're looking for an interactive one. And then, like I said before, collaborating with others of your age. Now since on these places you have found your people, you can always collaborate with them and get a chance to widen the horizon of your work and get out of your comfort zone occasionally. That would be great. Then another thing which is very tough for writers who are teenagers is that getting paid publications. Now this becomes very hard because first of all, publications like these have a pitch basis. So it's like if you're not having your work written, you can get an idea. First of all, get an idea, and then you can always look up for all these places where they are looking for a page for so and so thing. And if your idea fits into theirs, or if you think an idea fitting there, then you pitch them through email. Now once they like the idea, they give you a green flag and you can go ahead and write the piece. Now you always have, a sort of agreement then and there when you're ready to write the piece, how much would you get paid for it, and how much words you should write, and some certain procedure like that. But then it's relatively hard because you have to get your pitch to the right place, and the editor should like that. So that is a very much of a big deal for teenagers, because you have to constantly pursue it and get an editor for it. So it's a little hard, but it's not impossible, because I have done some publications with uh, Film Days, Gacy, Unpublished Zine, and they were amazing about the work I did. And you can always check out more people like Sophia and Yasmin for amazing work they do. And they always have like you can always get inspired seeing them and how much they do for us, and us as in BIPOC writing community. They do a lot for us, and it's worth checking out their work. So I'll put a link in the description for everything I have mentioned till now. But then yes, so those would be the steps I would suggest if you want to get into writing. But the later one being a little more time taking. Like even for the essays you want to pitch and the writings poetry you want to get published, you always have to look for something which is not already there on the internet, and something which is your own, and you can always research about it, talk to people about it. For those kind of essays you need to do a lot of research and communicate with the people who have already worked on that topic, so you can get the original essence of it. But yeah, that requires a lot of hard work, time, dedication. Even though it's paid, it needs certain amount of your time and energy. Yeah, but with unpaid zines, it's always there. Like you can always improve yourself and give yourself a exposure, because once you have that exposure, it will be really easy for you to get paid work. But once you don't have it, it might be a little tough, but still you can try out and look for it. I think there's no right way to go about it. You will always have a certain amount of, like this work for me does not mean it works for you, and you can always find out which one works the best for you and what you can do. But the trend I have noticed after the pandemic is a little different. I tried to get in my chapbook published, but unfortunately that was not happening, even though I tried a lot. But the thing is that once you target the places you want to publish, which have like a good amount of money they pay, it's very hard for you to get your work in it. And for that it requires like constant editing. You always have to edit your work again and again and again. That was a uncalled reference, and I did not intend to do that. But yeah, but you always have to do it, and that comes with a lot of dedication which you have to put in to your work. So after the pandemic, like this year and end of 2021, that was little different, because you don't get to choose the places where you want to do it. There are other places like zines, but then it has eventually slowed down, and a lot of zines have gone on indefinite break, and that is a sad thing. But there are always other zines you can look for and get your work out there. And If I think if you want to go from unpaid to paid work, like from zines to reputed places, one step that I always underestimated was going from zines to printed magazines, like the ones which have in print editions and which compensate you not in money but in some other sort of way, like they give you a certain amount of copies of their publication, something like that. So that would be another step which would come in between both the steps, so you can't just jump and go from one step to another because it would be very huge step. And for that you need to stop and reflect on everything, basically. So for that you can always use apps like Notion. Notion is a good one, and for writers we always have like a template, and you can always get a template and keep a track of the places you submitted, the places which have deadlines, the themes of them, and what all do they offer, something like that, something of that sorts. But yeah, we do have templates like that and places like that where you can get information, and there are so many amazing newsletters which give you the pitches information, like which one is the latest one and what is happening there. Now that also comes with a lot of dedication. You need to read the newsletter every certain day and find out the places which would fit the best for you. But yeah, it's a great journey. You learn a lot in it. And while I talk about this, I would like to also talk about spoken words poetry. For me, I started out during like one of the spoken words poetry by Culturally, and they were really supportive about it, and then I started doing more and more. And during the pandemic I found a lot of opportunities, like a lot of spoken words competition and things like that, which really helped me get out there and talk to people. Like once you start to go to these places and speak out your poems, there are going to be people who will notice you and then kind of approach you back. And that is one thing which I never thought would work as a networking, but it did. And I met so many great people through this, like going to spoken words and presenting my work, and someone, if they find it interesting, they would approach me later for another project or another performance actually. So that is something you should try out. And there are places which do like monthly spoken words poetry or like occasionally spoken words poetry, and it's free and you can join and always share your work. Even if it's like a work in progress, there are going to be people who can help you through the process. And I think that would be the end of all the things I wanted to talk about. And thank you so much for watching. If you liked this and would want more of my information, it's in the description box. And have a nice holiday season and a happy new year. Bye.